So something the last few days my channel has been talking about is Robert Tejas, or Tellus, however way you want to say it, because he has now said it both ways.
Robert Thais.
My last name is Tellis, Telles.
But we've been talking a lot about him, and we've been saying that it seems like he's been lying on the stand. And we don't know how much his lawyer knows he's lying. He's technically not supposed to be involved and should recuse himself if so, because he could get in trouble as well. So there's been some things that are hard to prove evidence-wise, but I've been going through and taking the time to see any documents that maybe the public can see just when it comes to the court documents that have been put online. And one of the things that we see is the criminal complaint that Robert Tejas has received. So we know that Robert at one point was representing himself. So representing himself in jail, he was privy to all of the information. He was having different things sent to him in jail for him to review and then also do motions himself. And whether he was representing himself or having his lawyer represent him, he would have received a copy of the complaint and then the indictment itself. And that happens to be made public. So I'm going to read you just a little bit of what the criminal complaint says, and I'll attach it as I read. So it's to Robert Tejas as the defendant. The defendant above named having committed the crimes of murder with use of a deadly weapon. Victim 60 years of age or older, in the manner of the following: that the said defendant on or about 2nd day of September 2022 and within the county of Clark, state Nevada, did willingly, unlawfully, with malice, all forethought, killed Jeffrey Garman, who was 60 years of age or older, with use of a deadly weapon, and then it says, a knife by stabbing. So the other day when Tejas was on the stand, he said to the jury that that is the first time he learned how Jeffrey died.
When the medical examiner testified, that's the first time I'd learned how Mr. Gurman was murdered.
And everybody immediately saw red flags with that. I was furious because there could be no way. This had been going on for 2 years, and for him to say that he didn't know that when he was his own lawyer for a period of time, but also, saying that his lawyer didn't tell him. I don't know one lawyer that would not tell his client why he was getting arrested and in jail and for what crime and what happened. And if you were the person sitting in jail, you would want to know too. But then to be legally handling your own case and defending yourself, he had all these documents. So right there, we can see that he lied. So also with this, I wanted to get into a little bit of my own thoughts and feelings watching Tejas say his story and what his truth was. And even before that, when he was in front of the judge before the trial began, and just his body language on a lot of it. And I'm going to point out a few of them that really bothered me. Okay, so one of the first moments is before the trial began. They were in court for a pre-trial hearing, and his lawyer was trying to get there to be a bond because previously they said no bond. And the way that Tejas is standing, he is looking like he is in a praying motion, like praying gesture. He's looking sorry. And he basically stood that way the entire time, which to me was he's going over the top to, grovel at the feet of the judge and hope that he can get his way in this. But then there's one moment, it's the only time during this hearing, that the state prosecutors start talking, and he just gives this look.
Motive, the clothing.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is about this look, but I mean, going from looking like he's groveling and he's so sorry and please do this for him, and he's praying to God that she says yes, and just that look is, I don't know what it is. I kind of wonder if anyone else got the feeling if they happened to see that or seeing that now. It just looked like there was underlying anger or menace. I don't know. It just really rubbed me the wrong way. But then that is not the only time that his looks continue to rub me the wrong way as he sits in court. Here's another one.
Now get rid of the shoes. You'd have to presume that he had knowledge of the shoes and their whereabouts. Let's talk about that hat. Why wasn't that hat discarded? Again, we'd have to presume knowledge on the part of Mr. Tellis where that hat was. And again, neither the shoes nor the hat tied him to Jeff German's residence.
So yeah, he keeps making this face of disgust, right? And he basically keeps the disgusted face on for almost the entire time the lawyer's speaking. But he also does these little gestures, and I think he's almost acting like he's trying to make them little gestures, but he wants the jury to notice. And some of the times it really, and maybe this is a little bit too far, but it really reminds me of somebody.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Yeah,
I went to
he
bed.
just really reminds me of Amber
Through the
Heard in
course of
some of these
testimony,
things. I
it
wonder
was
how much
actually
the jury is
through Mr.
actually looking over and seeing what he's doing. Because if I was the jury, I think I'd just be sitting there watching him and thinking it's all for show.